Get your stinking rat out. It's late night large.
Welcome to a late night large that started adding bath salts to its coffee just to feel something. With his head in space is me, Aaron Bliss, and with his ass on Mars is Mike Large.
Good job, to Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
How are we growing this week, Mike?
Yeah, much the same as last week, really. It's still a wonderful,
Christmas time,
exciting, fascinating life that we live, isn't it? So, yeah, fucking
Lockdown
great.
life.
Yeah. Fantastic, really. Last week been exciting for you in any way, shape, or form?
Well, it was my birthday, wasn't it? So
I thought I'd give you a way to get that in there before you
thank
shoehorned it in yourself.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed to not see an avalanche of gifts coming through the post. I don't think I saw anything coming through the post. So thanks very much, subscribers and supposed fans. It was
They could have at least sent you some underwear or something through the post, couldn't they?
yeah, like soiled underwear.
Mm.
Men,
That's right up your street, that.
Yeah, men's underwear, obviously. So no, I didn't even get that. So, I mean, do you know what? I was almost disappointed I didn't get dog shit through the letterbox either. So, you know, when you're not important enough for people to post hate mail or death threats to you, that's when it really hits you just how lonely this life is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
And the utter futility and meaninglessness of existence. Anyway, yeah, another year older, another circuit around the sun as the planet gradually dies. So yeah, it was great. No, but I had a few days off work, so you know.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, getting out of the grind. I mean, it's not so bad for me. I know for you, it would be heaven to get away from having to deal with the public for a few days. So.
I don't know what you mean.
We all grow what I mean, Mike. So, yeah. What about yourself, Mike? Have you done anything remotely interesting outside of work-related duties this last week or weekend?
Yeah.
Cleaned your gutter? No.
I mean, no. Copious amounts of takeaways. I don't know if that constitutes interesting or not, but there we go. Other than sorry,
carry on, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say. Other than that, nothing really. You know, not much to do, is there? To be fair, but soon it's on the horizon. It's knocking on the door, isn't it? We're getting there now, getting a bit closer, edging towards whatever new normal will be, slowly but surely. At least now there's that light at the end of the tunnel we can all look forward to.
Yes, and the one success story that we've had over the last year among the many failures is the vaccine program that's still running amok, doing really well. We're over 30% vaccinated at least once, so very impressive. And now, of course, we're into March. You'd hope that maybe it would even be stepped up, but it's about the only time over the last decade maybe that I've looked at UK and thought, but yeah, we're showing the world how to do stuff. But then that's the health service for you, isn't it? If it was left up to the cronies of the government, we'd still be back to square one. But yeah, I see what you mean, Mike. There's not really anything to distract oneself outside of usual housebound activities.
Not yet, although people will be starting to plan, no doubt, for with the timeline that they've been given. So people will be planning various activities for the coming months. Rightly or wrongly, but perfectly understandably.
Yeah, we'll all be sensible, knowing that we can potentially meet a friend outside. So that'd be good to see people we haven't seen for a long, long time.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember is that one thing we touched on last time is that it's important that that is the way that people act. So yeah, brilliant. On this day, you can do this. On this day, you can do this, and you know, do these things. If you're being told you can, by all means do them, but don't take the piss. Do it sensibly, because as we said before, I'm not certain that having to go through it all again or a fourth lockdown, I don't think that would go down in any way, shape, or form particularly well. Fuck the economy. The amount of businesses that's a lot of sustained bullshit that a lot of businesses would have to go through, particularly smaller businesses, and people themselves. I'm not sure. A lot of people have had their resilience stretched already, haven't they? And another fourth lockdown, when there's been such a carrot dangled in front of us. We've had all this good news. I'm not sure I think a lot more people would struggle massively if we had to fucking do it again. So, if that isn't you, it could well be someone you love. So, bear that in mind when you're making your plans.
Very true, Michael. Yeah, you're right. I think I definitely think there's some very fragile souls around. It's easy for us because we know the government can't be trusted to organise a piss up in a brewery, and we've had so many failures already. But there are people that don't necessarily suck up everything the press tells them. They just desperately want to believe that this is it, that this is the gradual pathway to having a semblance of normality, and most of all having like a life, a leisure life, an opportunity to do things for leisure, to make you forget about the grind of the working week.
Well, I think we all do, don't we? I think we all want that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll some of us will be a little bit more cynical than others, perhaps, but I think we're all kind of, if not desperate, then extremely keen as a minimum for this to be it. So we're probably quite a large number of people that fall into that desperate category, whereas they are desperate for this to be it. But let's see.
To put it into an analogy that maybe you particularly, Mike, would be fond of. Basically, the beautiful woman has been presented to us, and we're being told, listen, look at her, right? Look at that. Now, do you want to do things right? And doing things right is taking things slowly. So some kissing, some cuddling, some foreplay.
I want to do things wrong.
We don't want to fucking mount her and go in dry, because that's just going to be awful for her. And then she's going to kick you off. You're going to be out of her house. You're potentially getting your collar felt. So no matter how enticing she looks, we take it slow, and then we get to a mutually beneficial conclusion where we're all happy at being able to have a leisure life again and go out on adventures and have the freedom to have our businesses be ended by the new Brexit world. So that's where we want to get. Okay. And so the title of this Late Night Large, Lockdown Large, which I haven't mentioned before, but the title of this will be It Goes Over the Nose Too Stupid. And the reason for that is I just wanted to have a brief rant, Mike, if I may, again, about... So, when the thing about regulation is there to protect people. Ultimately, you get a lot of people who generally with a lot of money, who to get more money, they need to be able to do things as cheaply as possible. That's why they don't like regulation. It's nothing to do with nanny state. It's about that it will cost them a bit more money. They won't be able to make such a fat packet of cash. But generally, regulation is for the good of everyone. But the thing about regulation is it shouldn't just be handed down like a diktat. You need to bring people with you. You need to say the regulation is here because of this. So can we all do this together? And I know people on building sites, so I'm not stereotyping here, but particularly I know on building sites it happens. You get the guys turn up, it's all the like machismo, yeah, I fucking don't need a hard helmet, I can do this, I can do that, why do I need to wash my hands, what are you talking about, what do you mean I can't smoke in this kerosene filled office, these kind of things. So sometimes, the bullshit bravado can come into play. But when you're on the street and you're in shops or whatever, we've been in this long enough to understand, right? So when I say it goes over the nose too stupid, of course, what I'm talking about is the pillow that's being put over Boris Johnson's face while he's asleep. Because to finish the job, no, sorry, I'm talking, of course, about face masks. Now, I will give you the tiniest scintilla of an allowance if you wear glasses, because I know that shit gets steamed up like crazy when you've covered everything. So now and again, briefly, I understand, just clear glasses. I see so many people, and it does cross across genders, but generally I look at these people and they've got things in common. They either look quite hard of thinking, or they look like they think they're a bit of a tough guy. So I don't know how much more you need to have this explained to you, but the reason we're wearing masks is not because, oh, everyone else is wearing them and I've been told I have to. It's literally because we're keeping your droplets within your own face. Like, the reason that it goes over the nose is because they come out of the nose as well. Like, do you know how much of a penis you look walking around with a mask covering your mouth and your conch just sticking out over the top? Like, literally, I don't know about you, Mike. I see someone like that and I think, what a fucking penis.
I see it every day. I see it every day. I mean, I'd be interested to know who you've seen lately or whatever. Something has stirred this up from within inside you again. You've seen someone or been somewhere or had some sort of, there's something has triggered this little rant again. But yeah, you're right. You see it all the time. I saw it today. I'll see it tomorrow. Yeah. I think, I just had to come to terms with the fact that, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it would be still considered unlawful of me to go and plant one on their chins. But if you can't, can't do it, you can't do it, can you? But yeah. Look, this far in, if the kind of window lickers, and I love that phrase, and it fits. That's why it fits so well in so many situations.
You can picture them physically.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Bit graphic, but yeah. So if they haven't learned how to wear a mask by now, I mean, then they're not going to by the end of all this, are they? And it makes you wonder, at what age were they potty trained? How long did it take them to figure out how to use a potty or the toilet? Or
I never
were they in their teens before they could tie their laces? I don't know what. I mean, some of them, you look at them and actually you'd be surprised if they did learn any of that at the normal rate, because they're clearly not normal humans. But yeah, it never ceases to amaze me how incredibly dense some people can be, and how just shamelessly they go around living their lives.
That's a really good way of putting it. Do you know what? Sorry, Mike, just to jump in. Do you know what this reminds me of? That's just occurred to me, just zapped into my head, and I thought that's such a good like connection. So a lot of the people I see doing this, yeah, there's some young people, usually ones who think they're like a bit tough, but a lot of this is the older generation. Honestly, a lot of these people I've seen like this are the older, like middle age, and these are exactly the kind of people who will likely have relentlessly taken the piss and castigated young people for wearing their jeans down, near their knees, so like half their ass is hanging out. And they say to them, "Don't you know how to wear jeans? If half your ass is hanging out, you're not wearing them properly." And you feel like turning around and going, "Don't you know how to wear a face mask? If your hooter's hanging out, you're not wearing it properly." So to me, it's an amazing reversal of those caricatures. But you're right, it is shamelessness. A lot of it. It's just like I don't give a shit what penis I look like, how much I look like. I don't give a fuck about other people.
I wonder, kind of as I do with most things that I see and trying to just shake my head in despair at. And there's lots of things. We know how I feel about people, but I wonder, say as a percentage, then I wonder what kind of figures we're looking at. So everyone who can't wear a mask properly, right? I wonder what percentage of those are people that actually genuinely don't fucking know that they're doing it wrong, and in which I struggle to see how that can be the case, but there will undoubtedly be a number of those. And how many are the I don't give a fuck types? I'll wear one because I have to, but I'm not going to wear it properly. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It reminds you of like kids at school, isn't it? I see it a lot actually, with certain types of people. The kids at school that think it's cool to be naughty, or it's cool not to care.
That's it. Yeah.
It's cool not to care. Is it? Is it cool? Is this some sort of statement that you're making that people should be impressed by, or?
You're completely onto it, Mike. That's exactly the impression I get. It reminds me of teenagers. It reminds me of sulky teenagers. They've been told to, you need to wear your best shirt for your aunt's, your aunt's anniversary, wedding anniversary or something. So just to spite them, you turn up and your buttons are all undone, your tie's sort of hanging off at the side. You look like a bag of shit. They're like, "Oh, I'm complaining about what you told me to." It's like that attitude.
Yeah. Or like, kids at school that, just, I don't know, perhaps there's look, listen, and I'm not saying I've always been perfect, pretty fucking close, but not always been perfect, following rules and things like that. We all bend the occasional rule when we were a kid, but at no point did I think that I was cool or fucking hard or whatever for wearing school uniform incorrectly or whatever. Do you know what I mean? That's exactly what it is. They're the same people that thought it was cool to not really care at school, or I don't care, or like, okay, well done. What, I don't know, are we, or say you had to wear a tie or whatever, they would just not do it up properly, or they just hang it round or something like that. And you look at them and you think, like, just, okay, you are still a child, but grow the fuck up anyway. And unfortunately, there are far too many people in society today, in the world today, that just never grow out of that. They just never grow out of thinking that it's cool not to care, or not to comply, or whatever. Now listen, I'm not saying go around and wear the same clothes as everyone else, or be a fucking, well, if you're at school and there's a uniform, just adhere to it, right? Stop being a prick. But I'm not saying be sheep, and just don't be unique in any way, shape, or form. That's not what I'm saying. But for fuck's sake, do you know what I mean? There's a line.
Yeah,
There's a line, and some people just do not know where that line is, or they have complete disregard for it.
I have to say, Mike, really, you reflected pretty much exactly how I feel. Like, really, very well there, encapsulated most of it. The other thing I will say, when you say, you know, these are grown-ass men and women, like you say, but it's what was it? What was the point I was thinking of? Yeah, you were talking about be unique, don't be a sheep. That's it. So you're right in the sense that there's this twisted sense of like, well, yeah, I'm only going to do it half-assed because, you know, I'll only do it half-assed because I'm forced to do it. And yeah, there's definitely that sulky school kid kind of vibe about it. But the other thing as well is the way that there are some people, I'm not saying everyone who does it is like this, but there definitely are a few of them that actually think they're being anti-establishment. They think it's some kind of riot against the system. No matter how many times you explain to them, this is a virus that's passed on from people's mouths and noses. We're wearing these so we don't get our potentially infected air around each other in each other's grill. No matter how many times you say that, there's like again, it's like almost a school child mentality of like ignoring that, which presumably means they think it's a conspiracy or something. And then they turn it back to like, oh, you do everything the government tells you, do you? And I'm kind of like, and I think like, sorry, when did I last see you on a march in London? Do you ever got your ass for anything? Because I've been to London quite a few times protesting against things that actually matter, and there you are saying like, oh yeah, you just fucking listen to whatever the government says because you're wearing a fucking mask halfway off your nose, and you think that's some kind of anti-establishment statement. Fucking penis.
Yeah, I actually have more respect, and I use that word loosely. And actually, no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna retract that. More. No, I can't think of a different way to put it, but I think slightly more of maybe then people that just will refuse to wear one at all, actually, than those that don't wear one properly. So I think at least by not wearing it at all, you're actually in your own way, shape, insignificant, immature way, making a statement or whatever, or at least that you can kind of, there's something maybe to be said for that in some pathetic way, but to wear one, but just not properly, you just look like a fucking idiot. You're not. There's no statement being made there. There's no fuck the establishment or fuck your rules or whatever. Don't care. Take it off then.
Yeah.
Take it off then. If you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it properly. You're that fucking bothered about actually wearing one properly. And bearing in mind, most of these people are people that have to chuck it on to go into a shop for 5 minutes a day. There are people that have to wear them all fucking day. That becomes uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That becomes annoying. All you got to do is stick it on for 10 minutes while you fucking wander around a shop and get your shit and fuck off, or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. If you're really that bothered, don't do it at all. Don't get me wrong, I still think you're a cunt, but I just don't understand what the message is. At least I can see that the message you're trying to get across. Will I look down on you massively? But will I? I just don't think it's something worth fighting. Does it matter that much? There are bigger things, more important things that you could channel your energies towards than fighting against wearing a mask for 10 minutes in a shop. But okay, you do you. But at least there's something in that. But why put one on if you're not going to do it properly? What I don't understand what your message is there. Like you do nothing other than make yourself look like some sort of fucking mongoloid. Like, I don't understand. You either make yourself look fucking stupid because somehow you still don't know how to wear a mask, or you make yourself look stupid because you're trying to prove a point by half wearing one. I don't get it.
I'm exactly the same. It's funny when you said you don't know how to wear a mask. It just made me picture like their mum showing up out of nowhere and going, "Oh, hold on, dear. Let me just tuck your nose in." Just like that's how you feel. What needs to happen, really?
Yeah, like you see a kid running around with their laces undone. Stop! Come here, tight laces. All right, go on, off you go.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
It's embarrassing.
I know that went on for a while, but yeah, I need to get that off my chest because it's just, with this, we're still root deep. We're on our way out, hopefully, but all this time and you still get so many idiots. Anyway, other than that rant, Mike, there's not that much that's occurred over the last week, although there's a bit of concern because, as we predicted before, there's been yet another failure of governance in that. Do you remember when we were talking about they finally closed the borders? Well, there's a million excuses about why it hasn't been done completely correctly. And now the Brazilian variant of COVID has managed to get into the country. Do we think this is going to be a huge issue to come, Mike? Is it going to ruin our plans to get out of lockdown, or do you think this might be dealt with relatively quickly and easily without infecting swathes of people?
Look, I'm not an expert, but let's hope anyway that it's just. We've said before, there will be hundreds and hundreds of variants of this particular virus between now and probably the end of fucking time. Well, okay, I'm exaggerating slightly there, I'm sure, but my point is there will be loads and loads and loads of different variants. The only thing that for me, the only thing it really highlights is the lack of decisive action that we took with regards to controlling our borders and how well we've actually delivered that. I used obviously the term loosely, but for me, hopefully, it's just another variant that won't cause any trouble. We're not going to have to get a whole different vaccination for it or anything like that. So all we can do, all us non-experts can do, I suppose, is hope that that's the case, and also hope that it serves as a bit of an eye-opener for the incompetent ministers that I was going to say trust to run the country, that we have running the country. Kind of like, guys, hey, probably want to stop too much more of this. Cool. Hopefully it serves as a wake-up call without being too much of a ball ache for us in the meantime. And that's all we can do, I think, is hope on that one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Because what was it, a few weeks back, the worry was the South African variant. That doesn't sound like it's caused too many issues, but yeah, the Brazilian one I think is a bit worrying. But like,
but I thought that actually the UK variant,
the UK variant
is actually the worst.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
In terms of infection rate and actually how severe it can be. I'm sure I read somewhere that of the variants that were around, or the common variants that were around, the UK one was actually the worst. So
wow, well beaten then. Well beaten by reputation.
Yeah, that's us. Fucking England, we do it properly, mate. Yeah. We don't fucking half-ass it. We're gonna have a fucking virus. Yeah, we have the best fucking virus in the world. It's gonna be harder than your fucking virus.
Oh man, Yeah, I see. I always thought you were a bit wary about a Brazilian Mike. I thought you thought you preferred either the full garden or nothing at all. Not a Brazilian for you.
All or nothing, man.
All or nothing. That's it. And the other thing that could sink us all, this is more likely to sink us all actually, is the plans, because by the time this goes out, it'll only be a few days left. The plans, obviously, to reopen schools. Now we know, despite Johnson's pack of lies, that schools are the most troubling vectors of infection that we have for obvious reasons. Little people mingling, getting in each other's grills all the time, jumping on adults potentially. It's an absolute hotbed of potential cross-contamination.
And I've heard, how true this is, I don't know, but I've heard that actually this time round, so is it the 8th they go back?
Sorry?
Is it the 8th they go back?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, yeah.
So I've heard that this time around, actually, the guidance or whatever it is has been relaxed. I don't know. I don't think anyone's saying, don't worry about COVID anymore, go back to school. What I mean is, I think there are certain things, rules maybe, that they had to have in place before that they actually don't have to have in place now.
Okay.
Such as, you know, teachers crossing between bubbles and things like that. Whereas before, I think it was you can't do it. Now I don't think there is a strict kind of rule on that. And as an example, no, look, I just hear bits, don't you? But how true that is, I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't fill you with confidence, though, does it? And you know, when you talk about sinking the ship, wouldn't it be? I mean, if it was something, if it was I don't know, a new variant that came from, or that didn't come from another country, but just evolved from the one we already had. Because if you come from another country, you go fucking control the borders better.
Close the borders.
But if it just evolved from the existing variants here, you think, well, fuck, that's done us. That's fucked us over. We couldn't possibly have known, though. We couldn't possibly have done anything about it. Couldn't have done anything differently. We've done really well. We've rolled out the vaccinations, etc. But virus acted like a virus. It mutated, and now it's fucking us again. You know, that you go, wow, fuck's sake, that is shit. You know, okay, no one's fault. Couldn't foresee it, but it's shit. Now, if we got fucked over by opening the schools next week, wouldn't that just be like, I just think that would be, I don't think I could stop myself from doing something stupid, like just driving to London and just caving a few fucking heads in. I
just driving onto the pavement and just.
Yeah, well,
Grand
look,
Theft
if that happens when we're this close to the fucking end, I say the end, this close to the beginning of the end, then, you know, there's still a long way to go. Let's not kid ourselves, but, you know, why would we risk undoing all the good work that we've done with the vaccinations, etc. Now, it doesn't seem worth it, because it's, listen, I understand, and we've discussed before, right? I understand how important school is for not just education, but for actually molding our young people, you know, the social skills they learn, you know, the routine that they need to be able to kind of establish for themselves, not to mention the effects for, you know, that it can have on their parents, and lots of people might be struggling with homeschooling and things like that. Nobody is saying that school is bad, or that school isn't necessary, or that school isn't a good idea. But what I mean is it a good idea right now? We've shut them for X amount of time. Can we not just keep them shut for another couple of months?
Well,
until
yeah, this is it.
until
Exactly.
the vaccinations have taken place, or
I mean, to back up your point, Mike. Look at how good the direction, the positive direction that the figures are going in. So we look at the last figures given as of 28th of February. So the daily deaths are now down to almost under 100, which is nearly half of what it was the previous week. Hospitalizations are down by 3.7 thousand. Daily cases have halved. They're down to nearly 5,500. Now, those are all good figures, but they're not good enough. They're just in the right direction. You know, we're looking in a good, positive direction. But it just makes you think like, oh, just one more complete month, and then it would be. You would have thought it'd be low enough that maybe the school would be a better idea. It just.
yeah, I just can't see. I just can't see. I mean, we said it before, and we were proved right. What happened last time they opened the schools? They shut them, and then they opened again. And then what happened? Oh yeah, there was fuckloads of cases. The RA went through the roof, and just, I remember we were just kind of almost looking at each other, going, "Well, yeah, duh, of course it fucking did." You don't have to be brains of Britain to figure out that was going to happen. Of course, it was going to fucking happen. It was obvious it was going to happen. So, are we really that naive to think that it won't happen now?
No.
And
you make it.
I just don't understand.
You make
why.
A good point, because the point you're making, which needs to be reiterated. So I'll just reiterate the point you're making. When kids go back to school, the R rate will go up. That's not it may go up. It will go up. All experts say it will go up. So when we decide when to send kids back to school, we are guaranteeing an increase in the R rate. So this is why we say, why don't we get it so pitifully low, like for at least another month, so pitifully low that the R rate, even when it rises up, it's still not close to 1, which means that it's exponentially growing. So we can tolerate that rise in cases without there being a disaster and hospitals filling up. And it just, this is what needs to keep being said. It's like, it's not a maybe. The R rate is guaranteed to go up once schools reopen. And it's like, how low are we when that happens? And that's what we've got to be.
Well, I'm sure I saw somewhere that old Witty boy wasn't keen on it.
No.
You know what I mean? You've got the chief medical officer who thinks it'll be a bad idea.
A red flag, isn't it?
Yeah. It makes me think, like, well, if we're not listening to him, who are we listening to?
Presumably,
if you think it's a good idea, then
I don't know. Businesses who want the homeschooling parents to be back in the office by any chance?
Look, we can only speculate, can't we?
Yes.
But one thing we do know, like you said, is that sending kids to school will increase cases, will make the figures worse. And it represents a massive risk to all the good work that we've done.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand who thinks that it's. Look, like I said, I understand what we could gain. Nobody is saying that school isn't incredibly important. It is. It is, and not just for the kids, but especially for the kids, but for everyone, for the whole fucking country's like long term. Like we need our kids to be educated and stuff, and to progress at the level, at least the level that we would expect them to. Nobody is saying that isn't important, and anyone that does, don't listen to them. There's no point. But I just don't understand it's the risk reward thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just don't understand how the reward could be considered so substantial for making that call now against the huge risk of nullifying everything we've done.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just
I don't see that.
I'll just add one more thought, Mark, and Mike, before we wrap it up, related to the school thing. I think possibly the most frustrating thing for everyone, including probably parents, although I don't hear a lot of people saying it, and they probably should. We shouldn't wait for, our favourite newspaper or the BBC to say it. But the thing that really frustrates me is we've been in this shit for coming up to a year now, haven't we? This lockdown, threat of lockdown kind of period. So we've been living with this for a year, and schools have been closed at least twice. And yet there's been no strategy. No strategy in an entire year has been worked out to allow schools to open in a different way that still allows kids to be educated, but there to be optimum safety or lowest risk. It just seems to be, oh, that's long enough, let's get the kids back. Now, if you have a particular argument against that, like, oh no, they put into place this, fine, but I just don't see it. It just seems to be the government just seems to not be asked to be able to think up a proper plan, and their plan effectively is, oh, the unions don't think they should open, right, get the newspapers slagging off the unions, that'll get them back. And it's like, are you going to put in place any measures to avoid like excessive transmission, or are you just going to cross your fingers again?
Yeah, look, I think there are obviously things that they're doing. I know I spoke about them perhaps being a little bit more lax this time, but there are guidelines. I know that the teachers, in these schools will be doing everything they can. But let's be honest, what the fuck can they do? I mean, to a level, yes, there's steps they can take, there's precautions they can take. They can implement certain things on a school by school basis. I'm sure a lot of it will have to be based on size of school, number of pupils, etc., the logistics, how it would all work. I'm sure a lot of time and effort by each individual kind of school and the establishment there has gone into making it as safe as possible. But as safe as possible, I don't see how as safe as possible can be safe enough.
Yeah, very good point, Mike. Okay, well, let's agree that's probably the time we'll wrap up tonight. So we look forward with dread to the school openings around about this time next week, and obviously we will report back to you again next week. Anything to end with, Mike?
No, I think we've ranted and raved enough. Just the usual message, I suppose. Press the little like, subscribe to us. You know that really, if you're honest with yourself, you want to hear more. You want to hear more of this. And I don't blame you. Okay, you're human.
Hey,
indulge yourself.
Share us with a friend.
Share us with a friend.
Treat us like
share us. Yeah. Share us with a friend.
Get our R rate up through the roof, please. So tell a friend to
share us with your.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, as I say, share us with your elderly parents.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Because if
grandparents.
I guarantee, if you share us with your elderly parents, we won't kill them off. So there you go. You've already got it.
We might offend them quite a lot. Yeah, probably quite offensive. They might not like some of the language. But fuck them.
There's a chance that Mike might kill you off if you're a wealthy dowager and he sees an opportunity to marry into money. But that's another story for another time.
Yeah, pretty good. But share us with your mother, your brother, your sister, your uncles, cousins, nephews, dog. Do what you need to do.
Do what you need to do.
That's a good word.
Please, people, get these subscriber numbers up, and we will keep bringing you the gold. And please stay safe until next time, and we will grow you next time.